Okay, we're going to look at some old candy items that just came in. Well, one's a gum wrapper. That's pretty rare. This is something I've never seen. It's a candy item. So let's get in there. I pulled these MADBALL knockoff candies. Was it yesterday? Picked up a few things at the store we're going to look at. But let's get here first. Let's start with this one. This is going to be from the wax wrapper category. A lot of your favorite sports cards and non-sport cards were put into wax wrappers back in the day, mainly to sell bubble gum. I don't typically collect that stuff, even though I have hundreds and hundreds of wax wrappers. I don't consider myself a collector of them, but this one I had to have. Okay, we're going to go down the line and open this. Yeah, I hadn't seen this one before, and it's a nice crossover piece. I'm always looking for crossover pieces. Here it is. I'm going to take this out. Okay, so we have a Stamp Collector's Chewing Gum Wrapper made in Denmark by the famous company Dandy, who made some just amazing novelty items. Especially in the 90s. I always think of the 90s with them. But yeah, this is a great, great piece. I'm not sure what came in this, except probably reprints of stamps. But what a great crossover piece. You know, I'm looking at these stamps on here, these designs of stamps. I'm not sure if these are particularly rare or if these are just made up. I know as a kid, I know a lot of us tried to collect stamps. It was just one of those things that was easy to collect. Still is very easy to collect. Very collectible. And so I just saw this piece and was like, wow, what a great, great crossover piece of stamp gum. That's awesome. Let's put that back here. Okay, also, this is something I'd never seen before either. This is super, super cool. I think it is. It looked like it. It was cheap enough I could take a gamble on it. It's pretty rare I find things that I've never seen before. Okay, but anyway, this is going to be from the category of G.I. Joes. So in the mid-2000s, Hasbro, for whatever reason, I don't know the story, started making some G.I. Joe candy novelties. Well, this one I had never seen before. Oh, wow. Okay, so my concern, which is gone, my concern was... Sorry, let's get this, making a shadow over here. My concern was that this was tin. I couldn't tell what the material was. I'm going to open this. But I can tell you it's carton. That is incredible. This is so ungodly rare. Oh, and it's from the period that I'm always talking about. I'm telling you guys, I don't know why it is. Well, it starts in 1997 to the mid-2000s. I'm talking like 2005. This is 2006, I think. It could be 2003. We're going to find out in just a minute. There's a little dead spot that it's so hard to find things from. Here we go. Guys, check. Did you know about this? This is a G.I. Joe Attack Treats candy. Easily the best G.I. Joe candy there is. Easily. This blows it out. I can't tell you about what you can find with the G.I. Joe. Hold on, let me just get through this. Okay, it has a date of 2006, Odd Zone. Odd Zone. Amazing company. They go dead, or at least their items. I don't know what happens in the mid-2000s with Odd Zone and Cap Toys, but their stuff gets harder and harder to find. Inside are Army Men candies. Not plastic candies. This is this may be the find of the year. It's translated in French Canadian. We saw this. I can get to him. We saw this last week, or whenever it was, with these Hasbros that have the French Canadian, and these are the Transformers. Well, just so you know, I did the same search, and this is how I found this. So I don't know if these were released in Canada. Yeah, it says Canada. It says Hasbro Canada. That's why we can't find it. That's why this has been obscure for years. Guys, we have a Canadian exclusive G.I. Joe Gummy Soldiers tank made out of a carton. This is not tin. This isn't some crappy plastic shit. This is one that this is the best find of the year by far. This is it. I like it better than the MADBALLs from yesterday, to be honest with you, because the figures are candy. I love when that happens. I know it did happen with the Transformer gummies. By the way, I did sell one of these for $50 and made all my money back on one of them. I told you guys I'd do that. I could have got more for it. I just want to get my money back, so all these were free, basically. Yeah, this is incredible. So I don't know the whole story, but it looks like Cap Candy. I don't need to get at the bottom of this, but they did some Canadian issues that were only available in Canada. This one does say explicitly on the back, Hasbro Canada. Yeah, it's all Canadian. That's why this thing has been obscured all these years. Amazing, amazing discovery. I can't even get over it. Holy shit. All right. I didn't talk much about this yesterday, but I did find the mythological MADBALLs candies. These are not branded MADBALLs, so they're going to fall into that knockoff category. Now, I'm sure that there are some MADBALL people that have these. They just don't know what they are. So I didn't get to it yesterday, but what we call these in the candy game are jumpers. And so what you do, here's one. So it has a suction cup that will stick, right? And it pops off, right? Well, on jumpers, there's two suction cups. Because when you push the head down, this suction cup sticks to that suction cup, and then it pops, and the whole shit just pops up like a rocket. Pause, that's what she said. But anyway, I think this is probably the whole set. There's a football man. Now, the faces could have been more grotesque, which would have made them way more cool. That's really the thing that's holding these back in particular. The faces aren't gross enough. Though this one I was looking at is kind of angry. I've talked about this many times. In candy, you don't see a lot of angry faces. That's because these were dealt to children, and if you'll just look, when you're at the store, you'll notice you'll see all sorts of faces, all sorts of mascots, but one of the rarest expressions is, anger or just, mean faces, basically. Anyway, this comes with basically a Smarties style. It's not Smarties. It's a Sweeties. Sweet and sour. I'm reading it now. But anyway, so that came in yesterday. Also came in with a Topps Barf Boys. These are highly sought after cassettes. Something that like this is going to cost you $100, sometimes more for the Barf Boys one. That's from '89. Yeah, I want to open these though. I am going to come back and review this stuff in a minute. So I picked these two items up yesterday that you can look out for. I want to open these now. So this is the Bubble Yum Lollipops. I've always loved the punk rock duck, the mascots to die for. I don't know why it's a duck. I've never understood. I guess they thought kids would like that. What I'm curious about, see all these flavors, 4 flavors. Are they going to be individually wrapped? Are they going to have graphics on the wrapper? They got to be wrapped. They would be stuck together. So are the wrappers going to be generic, or are they going to say something or have a mascot? Let's see now. By the way, when I open these, I call them pucker bags. I don't know the names of them. They're pleated. Maybe they're pleat bags. When I open pleat or pucker bags, I always go for the bottom. So I'm making a slit with the scrapbooking knife. By the way, you don't have to make a very long slit when you do this. Just start you a hole and then rip. Oh, they do. They do. Okay. Well, they don't have the duct, though. That's a damn shame. Let's get a few of these out. Just all of them. Because, you know, when they go into the archive, they'll be flattened. And do you see any cut there? No. And when you flip it back, do you see a cut? No, the cut is on inside the pleat. Yeah, that's going to make a very beautiful bag long term. That's a great piece. I'm not a big fan of this light pink color. It could have been a little darker, by the way. It just comes off a tad bit flat, but I do love this overall. Yeah, so these are different. Some have cotton candy, some have a strawberry on them. The question with lollipops is how clean are they going to open? Let's try it. Notice they have a natural twist here. You're going to go against the twist. And you're going to start to work out, because these were heat, they're not always heat sealed. Okay, this one has a pretty loose, let's see how well these are going to open for us. We might have got lucky on this first one. Okay. So as an archivist, you know, you're just, or collector, you know, you want to try to save this stuff, or I do. But with all the blow pops and different lollipops, it's always a challenge to basically unravel. Yeah, this is going to be a real big pain there. So what you can do, I'm going to try to just open this whole thing later. You can just cut a margin off of this where it's heat and just save the middle panel, which should flatten out perfectly, if that makes sense. You'd cut off the sides. But I always try to just, because I'm just into this, I'll just sit there for like an hour and unfold these as best I can. But yeah, so that's something you can look for. They smell amazing. Oh, this is the cotton candy. So of course that's going to smell amazing. Wow. That's awesome. Great bag, man. Look for that. The other thing I picked up today was, this is an up-and-coming brand. They do a lot of freeze-dry candies now. You can buy these in Walmart, or at least mine has them, but this is their new salad candy. Let's see what's in here. So they're telling kids to find a bowl. This does not come with a bowl. I was checking on that. I don't think there's a bowl in here. So already the novelty factor has gone down. This should have come with a bowl or some sort of like little insert tray. Inside is going to be candy, 2 candy sauces, sour powder, and it does come with a fork. So let's see what the fork is. I like this concept for novelty candy. You know, it's kind of a free-for-all, or just put everything in there and let kids figure it out sort of thing. But they did, I mean, I think salad is kind of a good idea. All right, let's get in there. We're going to take a look at that G.I. Joe candy right before I go. Oh, what a fucking bummer that is. It just comes with just a rando bag of basically Hong Kong gummies, no graphics. I feel like I just got ripped off. Okay, this has some graphics on it. There's our fork. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, by the way, great bag. Inside is going to be, these are the powders. Apple. Why apple? It does have the brand 1UP, so that's kind of cool. Here's the sauces. And the fork is bamboo. And it does have 1UP wood burned into the handle. That's kind of cool, I guess. The style of fork makes it particularly interesting. And then, so what they want kids to do, I don't have a bowl with me, but basically find a bowl, dump this in, squeeze these motherfuckers on top of it, pour a bunch of powder on it, and then you're supposed to eat all that shit with this little fork. A lot of stabbing, a lot of, you know. Yeah, the concept really doesn't work very well. By the way, these candies already have powder on them, so that's one little fun little fact. All right, so in review, these are really annoying me. Okay, almost there. Let's see. Okay, in review today, we got a 1970s stamp chewing gum. This was put out in Denmark by Dandy, a company that many of us that collect particularly gum, or if you're into like cards and non-sports, we love Dandy, right? But I didn't know about this one, and it's for stamp collectors, and they have all kinds of stamps on here. Great crossover piece. People that collect stamps will love this. People like me that collect old candy items will certainly love this. Non-sports people that have different wrappers, like Garbage Pail Kids, all sorts of these wax wrappers would love this too. But, you know, it's not going anywhere. But it's something you can look out for, I guess. And then I picked up maybe the find of the year so far. The year's not over. A 2006 Canadian Attack Treats candy G.I. Joe tank made out of carton, filled with candy figurines that look like army men. It's the reason why I do what I do, is to find stuff like that. I compared it to some items we pulled last week, these from the same company, Hasbro Canada, and their gummy Transformers. You're looking at the whole set. Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and whoever that is. We reviewed the things from yesterday. I pulled these 80s MADBALL knockoff candies by B International. One of them was sealed. It appears to be the whole set because there's a football, there's a baseball, there's a soccer ball, and there's a basketball. And back in the 80s, I mean, that's basically it. Also yesterday, I just can't help but point out there was also a Bark Boys Tops cassette from '89. This, by the way, was floating in the box, and then I realized, oh, it goes to this, so it just fell off. Also, yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, I did pull those, by the way. And then we had a little toy day. And then I showed you some stuff, some shit I got at Walmart. The new Bubble Yum lollipops. We discovered that inside they are individually wrapped with interesting, or, you know, different graphics. You know, watermelons have watermelon. The other ones have whatever flavors they are. But there is no mascot on them, which makes them a bummer. But great, great bag. Then we opened the new 1-Up Mashups Candy Salad. Looks really fun. I get it. I think kids will go for this. But when we opened it, we were just left with a pretty disappointing, just a bulk bag. Some pretty lazy insert things. I mean, these were pretty. And then a very problematic fork made out of bamboo. So, I don't know. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed that. Get out there and collect. Man, there's so many things. I can't. It's crazy that even after all these years, I can still find things that I've never heard of, much less seen. All right. That's all I got. Later.